Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another good old normal vlog. This weekend, I really want to focus on chilling and self-care because I'm just really tired. I've just had a really long week at university, a lot of assignments that I had to finish. I'm gonna be chilling. I'm gonna go book shopping because the bookstore in my city has like a huge sale. But also what I personally think is like a part of self-care that I and a lot of other people really try to kind of forget about because it's not the fun part of self-care. But self-care oftentimes also means doing the things that you've been putting off that are kind of giving you low grade background stress all the time because you keep putting them off. I have some emails that I need to be sending. I need to do the dishes, I need to clean my room, but I hope mostly that it's just gonna be like cozy, encouraging you to also take some time for yourself. I think I'm just gonna start by making a list of things that I need to be doing. And once it's like out of your head and you've written it down somewhere, that already eases a lot of stress for me. And then after that, I have like some really fun things for the book shopping. Okay, so I made a list online of all the things that need to be done. I decided to kind of order them in not urgent, things I want to do today and things that I finished. I already finished 2 things, but most of it ended up just being urgent. It's quite a list. I don't necessarily need to do everything this weekend, you know, we're not going to put too much pressure on ourselves, but definitely a bunch of these things need to happen because that's self-care. Doing the things that you've been putting off. But the first thing I'm gonna do, the fun thing on this list, is I'm gonna go into the city to go shopping, book shopping. I also, I need to buy some kitchen utensils because there are just a few things that I need for my kitchen that I know will make my life so much easier, but for some reason I just keep putting it off. So I'm gonna go kitchen stuff buying and then I'm gonna go book shopping, and this is actually really exciting. So there are two missions that I have for this book shopping. Like, I'm going in with the purpose, okay? The first thing is that I just really I'm craving a YA fantasy book that I've never heard of. You know what I mean? I just want to walk into a bookstore and just buy whatever book sounds interesting to me based on the synopsis. And I know that's like the default of book shopping, but if you are watching booktube videos like I do, watching book talk videos all the time, I'm constantly aware of which books are good and which books I should be reading and which books are getting bad reviews. And every time I walk into a bookstore, I have a clear goal of, oh, I need this book and I need this book. And I just want to get back to that feeling that I had when I was like 14 years old, where you go into a bookstore, you don't know anything, you've never heard anyone talk about any of these books, you don't know if they're good or not, you just pick something up because it sounds interesting. And I just want to do that again. And I'm really craving a YA fantasy. And the second mission that I have is really exciting, and that is that I need to buy a book for someone else. So with my student association, we are doing a Secret Santa, but with books. So I got my Secret Santa, and everyone has like filled in a list of their favorite books, the type of books that they really like, their wish list, and then you can buy 25 euros worth of books for them. And that makes me really excited because I love trying to find like the perfect book for someone. So that's a mission. So I thought it would be fun if we kind of go over it together, like the process of finding the perfect book for this person. If you happen to be in my student association Secret Santa group, don't watch this because I might have you as my Secret Santa, okay? But let's go over the book buying together. Okay, so just for privacy, I'm just gonna call this person my Secret Santa. So let's take a look at what my Secret Santa likes. So she's okay with secondhand books, which I'm very excited about because that means we can probably buy more books. And some of the books on her wish list, like Good Omens by Neil Gaiman, Paper Towns, and Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, I'm certain that I can find these books secondhand somewhere because they're very popular books, you know? She really likes fantasy, romance, poetry, and she also mentions like books with like a really good plot that she can just like really just get into for a while. But she doesn't like anything that's like thriller or has horror elements. She doesn't have a Goodreads, so I am at the big risk of buying a book for her that she already owns without me knowing. So I do think that it's a good idea to kind of stick to her wish list, because then at least I am certain that that's a book that she wants and she doesn't already own. But I just really enjoy the process of trying to find a book for a person that perfectly matches like their description of what they like. So I might find a not super popular book that fits the description. So we're just gonna go to the bookstores, browse around, and especially take a good look at the secondhand bookstores. And then of course also trying to find a book for me. But that's a second thought. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly tidy my room because that was on my to-do list as well. Hello! It's time for a haul. Let me just first start off with like the kitchen things and then we'll talk about the books. I ended up getting a garlic press because this will make my life so much easier. Yesterday I cut garlic and my fingers still smell like garlic. So now I have a press to make that easier. And then bowls. As you may have seen yesterday, I really enjoy eating things like noodles or curries, and eating those things from a flat plate just doesn't work really well. And honestly, for like I think over a year now, I was like, I should probably buy a bowl that I can eat my dinner out of. So now I have 2 bowls and they look really cool. And I also got a matching mug. I didn't really have a good mug for coffee. I feel like that doesn't make sense, but I'm pretty picky with my mugs and what beverage I like to drink out of which mug. I know that makes no sense, but now I have a mug that I think I will enjoy drinking coffee out of. And then the last thing I got was a scented candle. I know scented candles seem like such like a frivolous thing, but it's one of those things that just genuinely bring me so much joy in life. And I know that it's super basic, but just having a nice smell in the room calms me. it relieves stress. So my current scented candle is almost running out, so I need a new one. And I got from Zara Home, which I've never gotten a candle from there. I hope that they're good. Okay, so for the books. I realized I never really showed you which book I'm currently reading, but you may have seen me reading Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This is of course the classic story about Dr. Frankenstein that creates a monster out of like dead materials. I'm only 50 pages in and I am loving this. It's so different from what I expected because, to be honest, I knew rationally that it was wrong, but whenever I thought of Frankenstein, I always think about this monster, but that's just not the vibe that this book is. It's really about this young man who is like driven by his ambition, by his thirst for knowledge, academic achievement, and his manic pursuit for discovering new things, including bringing dead things to life again. And I'm just at the part where he has created the monster and the monster wakes up, and again, I don't know what I expected, but the monster does not look like this. He kind of looks, wait, there's illustrations in here. Look. This is the monster. It's still scary, but like, not this. So I went to the bookstore and I browsed around looking for a book that I hadn't really heard any people talking about, something just new to me. And I was actually pleasantly surprised that in one bookstore I did find quite a few titles that I was like, I've never heard anyone talking about this. And I ended up choosing Into the Crooked Place by Alexandra Christo. This is from the same author who wrote To Kill a Kingdom, which I read last year and I absolutely adored. And was also super hyped, but I didn't hear anyone about this book. So maybe that's a bad sign, I don't know. What is it about, you may wonder? I'm gonna be fully honest, it 100% sounds like a Six of Crows copy. Even if you read the description of the back, it's super vague. It's just like that there are 4 main characters that are kind of like crooks and thieves living in this city, and then they have to come together to save the city from a sinister magic. Super vague. Sounds exactly like Six of Crows. But that's not a negative. And I trust this author. I'm actually pretty excited about this one. But I'm excited to see if this is good or not. So mission number 1 accomplished. Mission number 2, trying to find books for my Secret Santa, not accomplished. I know I said that I was confident that I would find these books in like secondhand bookstores. Nope. I did not. So I'm gonna look online and like online secondhand websites. I highly recommend this website called Awesome Books, where you can find new and used books for really cheap and you can just order them online. So it's a lot easier because, you know, finding used books can sometimes be really up to luck. And within the budget, I managed to be able to buy her Good Omens, Aristotle and Dante, An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, and Fahrenheit 451, all from her wish list. Beautiful. And then my plan is to maybe just kind of like add a letter in the package with books that I would recommend to her based on her preferences, but that I didn't want to buy for her because maybe she already owns them. And now the rest of the afternoon I am gonna chill and watch some Scream Queens because I've recently discovered Scream Queens. I really like watching comedy shows and I also really like horror. And Scream Queens is the perfect combination of both of those things. Also forgot to shower, but there's a map in the Crooked Place. And I cannot resist a book with a pretty map. reading this book before bed now. So at the beginning of this vlog, I actually showed you a few clips of me repotting a few plants when I was in my parents' garden last weekend. And the thing is just that, like, taking care of plants and repotting them and watering them and seeing them grow is something that just really brings me a lot of tranquility and joy, and it's very zen, and I do consider that a form of self-care. And I just want to show you guys like a few of the plants that I repotted. Like, for example, this one, my favorite plant. It was about to die. I don't know if it's less about to die right now, but I decided to put it in a bigger pot. And then I had this old sansevieria, and the great thing about sansevierias, if you have one, you can kind of break them apart, and then you have all these tiny little plants. So for example, I took the smallest ones and put them into small pots so I can grow them. And then a bunch of the other little bundles that I had, I just put into pots and gave away to my friends. I've already given 2 away. I still have these left. So that's my life hack for you also, is you do not need to buy plants ever. Just share cuttings among your friends. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about this book. Appropriate lighting. I'm on page 100. So I was right when I anticipated that this was gonna be pretty much a copy of Six of Crows. I wanted to talk about that. So Six of Crows, if you don't know, is like a very famous kind of heist YA fantasy that really introduced this idea of like following more morally gray main characters instead of the super morally pure people that we've had so far in YA fantasy, and also following multiple characters as main characters in a fantasy city as a setting. And it's one of my favorite books of all time, but what you see very often is that whenever there's another book that kind of has a similar premise, it gets compared to Six of Crows, and we talk about it that it's like a Six of Crows copy. And I just want to say, like, at some point we're gonna have to admit that it's just genre. Leigh Bardugo did not invent following a ragtag bunch of thieves and criminals main characters that need to work together to like save the city. That has been around for a longer time. Like, the idea of following a group of characters who all have their own clear backstory and their own talents and magics and need to work together to save a city. The Avengers has been around. Was the Avengers inspired by Six of Crows? I don't think so. Now You See Me exists, Ocean's 11 exists. Crime-based urban fantasy is something that has been happening in adult fantasy already for a longer time. You know, The Lies of Locke-Lamora, I think it even came out before Six of Crows. It's just that Leigh Bardugo popularized it in YA fantasy, and therefore you're going to see it more often in YA fantasy after Six of Crows, but it doesn't mean that they're all copying Six of Crows. Like, these are just tropes and genres that exist in the fantasy genre, and that's okay. And, like, I'm not mad because I love these kind of like crime city fantasies. Like I want to see more of them, more Six of Crows clones. One thing that I always notice about these kind of books, like this one and also The Gilded Wolves, which was also described often as just kind of like a copy of Six of Crows, what is mostly talked about is that the teenage boy characters are all just Kaz Brekker clones. Like there's always, in this book as well, there's always this like young dude that's like a mafia gangster boss that's always like, I can kill anyone, and he only wears black, and he has this like one specific mysterious gimmick about them that will be a mystery point in the rest of the series. And all the other characters are like, he has no soul. And I always hear people talking about like, they're just Kaz Brekker clones. But I just want to say, at some point we're gonna have to admit to ourselves that Kaz Brekker was also kind of a stereotype. Like when I reread Six of Crows a few months ago, I really realized that Kaz Brekker really wasn't a revolutionary character. He was already a stereotype of like the mafia teenage boss, and all these other kind of ridiculous characters, they're not clones of Kaz Brekker. They're just all the same stereotypical cliche character. And we need to admit as a community that Kaz Brekker was already the stereotype and no one stole from him. Now it is time for me to finally start doing the things that I've been putting off, because that's also self-care. I did it! I mean, I didn't get to finish everything, but I finished all of the things that I really had to do that I've been putting off, and it feels so good. Look at this. 12 finished things. I got so many things done this weekend. I'm really happy. Ooh. So for the rest of the evening, it is my housemate's birthday, so we're going to have dinner together with the house. I'm not going to be filming that. I am going to try to squeeze in some yoga before going there. I know that whenever I make videos like this, every single time I'm like, I should start doing yoga again, and then I do it in the days that I'm vlogging, but then the next days I stop again. But I really need to make it a habit, so yes, again, today I'm telling myself in this vlog, do yoga. And then tomorrow I'm going back to uni, but I want to continue this vlog for tomorrow because, of course, it's easy to do like the self-care thing when you have days off. But I'm gonna really try if I can continue to implement these like stress-relieving self-care habits when I do have kind of like a stressful university traveling day. So we're gonna see if I can keep it up tomorrow. Guys, I did it. I did the yoga. I cooked for myself, made a really nice meal. I don't cook every evening. I usually cook for 2 or 3 days so I can just warm up the leftovers the next couple of days so I don't need to cook every day. And honestly, buying those bowls has been such a great way to spend my money, because honestly, eating my saucy meals from a bowl just makes the dinner experience so much nicer. I'm happy with that purchase. And then I did my yoga, and now I'm getting ready for bed to just like chill a little bit, watch one more episode of Scream Queens, have a cup of tea, and then just go to bed. I'm really happy with kind of this little self-care thing that I did over the weekend, because I really feel like I've gotten myself back into that vibe, that routine. I have a really neat list of things that I need to be doing that are urgent or not urgent. I feel back into that flow of doing the things I need to be doing and keeping track of my to-do lists and doing yoga every day. Hopefully I'll stick to it this time. I'll give you the last update on this book. I read it on the train today, and I just still don't know. Like, I'm only about 150 pages in. I've mentioned this before, but sometimes you just have those books that have a lot happening and it's action-packed all the time, but you just don't really care. Like, currently I'm reading this scene where every single main character is in mortal danger. I just can't get my heart pounding at all. And I think I've realized what makes that book sometimes feel like so much is happening, but yeah, you don't care, and that is just a lack of stakes. Like, I don't yet really care about these characters, and other than that they might die, there are no stakes. And you know, I know they're not gonna die because they're the main characters and I need to live on for the rest of the book, but other than that, there are no other stakes, there are no other things that I'm like, oh my gosh, no, but then this will happen, or then that will happen, or these people will have like the wrong idea about each other, etc. There are no stakes. And it's something that I never really thought about, but it's something that a book really needs. There need to be the correct amount of high stakes. I hope the stakes will rise. I'm just a little sad. I just like feel genuinely kind of sad because I love To Kill a Kingdom so much, and this just feels like it was written by a completely different author. So I really hope it's gonna get better because it is fun. Like, there's definitely thought put into it. But yeah, I'm not even halfway into this. Anything can still happen. My final thoughts will be in my wrap up at the end of the month. Anyway, that was it for this vlog. I hope you had a good time, and take care of yourself, guys. Take good care of yourself. And I will see you soon in another video. Goodbye.